Go ahead and call this meeting to order. Roll call.
Commissioner Decker?
Here.
Hill?
Here.
Mingus?
Here.
Sutherland?
Here.
Mayor Call?
Here.
All present, Your Honor.
Thank you. Please rise for the invocation and remain standing for the pledge.
Shall we pray? Heavenly Father, we thank you for these past 2 summer-like days as fall is fast approaching. Although our skies are sunny and blue, others are not quite as fortunate. We ask you, Heavenly Father, to look over those and comfort those devastated by Hurricane Dorian. Protect and guide those still in the path of Dorian. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Approval of the minutes, please.
Mr. Mayor, I move that the minutes of the regular meeting held on August 20th, 2019, the minutes of the special meeting for a working session held on August 20th, 2019, and the meetings of the closed meeting executive session held on August 20th be approved as printed.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Decker. Any discussion? Hearing none. Roll call.
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
Aye.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Thank you. Under communications, I have 3 proclamations this evening, and the first one being for the Fond du Lac District Library. Whereas Fond du Lac District Library is a vibrant pillar of East Peoria and plays an important role in the education and support of all members of the community. Whereas signing up for a library card is a vital step towards academic achievement, lifelong learning, and recreational enrichment. And whereas the library's events serve people of all ages, from early literacy programs and enlightening presentations to hands-on workshops and creativity classes. And whereas librarians lead the way in creating inclusive spaces and developing diverse collections for people of all backgrounds to connect and learn together. Whereas the library works to bridge the digital divide by providing internet access and a range of digital and electronic materials and services, and whereas the library continues to transform and expand its collections and services in ways that meet the needs of the community it serves, and whereas a Fond du Lac District Library card opens up a world of infinite possibilities through resources and services, helps the people of East Peoria pursue their passions, and provides access to tools for success in school and beyond. Therefore, be it resolved that I, John P. Call, Mayor of East Peoria, do hereby proclaim the month of September 2019 as Library Card Sign-Up Month in East Peoria, Illinois, and encourage East Peoria residents to sign up for a Fond du Lac District Library Card today. Very good. Did Gina step out? Are you still here? You mind stepping forward, Gina? Anything you would like to say?
No, we just want everybody to come and take care of or take advantage of the resources that they have already paid for. So, all right, thank you. Thank you, we appreciate it.
I'm a little partial, but I think we have one of the best libraries in the entire downstate, and we have a great staff there, so thanks for all you do. Second proclamation. Whereas in the aftermath of the terrorist attacks on September 11, 2001, the American people demonstrated that in times of hardship, the values that define us do not simply endure, they are stronger than ever. And whereas, as a nation, we respond to unthinkable tragedy with an outpouring of service and goodwill. And whereas on that dark day, first responders rushed into a burning Pentagon and climbed the stairs of smoking towers on the verge of collapse, while citizens risked their own health and safety to prevent further heartbreak and destruction, and whereas, as Americans, we came together to help our country recover, rebuild today, we pay tribute to the selfless heroes and innocent victims of September 11, 2001. And we reaffirm the spirit of patriotism, service, and unity that we felt in the days and months that followed. And whereas we join in serving causes greater than ourselves and honoring those we lost, we are reminded of the ways that the victims of 9/11 live on, and the people that they loved, the lives they touched, and the courageous acts they inspired. And whereas by a joint resolution approved on December 18, 2001, Public Law 107-89, the Congress has designated September 11th of each year as Patriot Day. Now, therefore, I, John P. Call, Mayor of the City of East Peoria, do hereby proclaim September 11th, 2019 as Patriot Day in the City of East Peoria and invite all citizens to participate in community service in honor of those our nation lost, to observe this day with the appropriate ceremonies and activities, including remembrance services, and to observe a moment of silence beginning at 8:46 a.m. to honor the innocent victims who perished as a result of the terrorist attacks of September 11, 2001, and ask all businesses, schools, and agencies to display the flag of the United States at half-staff in honor of those individuals who lost their lives on September 11, 2001. So, lest we not forget, a day I don't think any of us will forget. Third proclamation. Whereas September is known around the United States as National Suicide Prevention Awareness Month, most of us are quite aware of suicide. National Suicide Prevention Action Month is intended to help promote and give attention to the suicide prevention services available to us and our community. The goal is to speak openly about the topic of suicide, to help erase the stigma surrounding it, and to direct those who in need to the appropriate support services. And whereas suicidal thoughts can affect anyone regardless of age, gender, race, orientation, income level, religion, or background, and whereas according to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, more than 47,000 people died by suicide in the year 2017. And whereas suicide is the 10th leading cause of death among adults in the U.S., and nearly 20% of all suicides were completed by people ages 45 to 54. And whereas East Peoria, Illinois is no different than any other community in the country, but chooses to publicly state and place our full support behind local educators, mental health professionals, athletic coaches, PAC leaders, police officers, and parents as partners in supporting of our community and simply being available to one another. And whereas local organizations like Suicide Prevention Services and national organizations like the National Alliance on Mental Illness and international groups like Hope for the Day are on the front lines of a war that many still refuse to discuss, as suicide and mental illness remain too uncomfortable of a topic to talk about. And whereas every member of our community should understand that throughout life struggles, we all need the occasional reminder that we're all fighting our own battles. And whereas I encourage all residents to take the time to check in with their family, friends, and neighbors on a regular basis and to honestly communicate their appreciation for their existence by any gesture they deem appropriate. A simple phone call, message, handshake, or hug can go a long way towards helping someone realize that suicide is not the answer. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, John P. Call, Mayor of the City of East Peoria, Illinois, do hereby proclaim the month of September 2019 as National Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. So I think it's an important topic that should be discussed, and I don't know how many people out here have been personally affected, but I have by two different people in my life, and I think it's something worthy of discussing and being out in the open, because you don't know what's going on in someone's life, and I think it's very important to keep that in mind as we go about our daily business. So anyway, that being said, do we have any public comment from anyone in the audience on an agenda item? Agenda item, please come forward. Seeing no one. Very good. Any objections to the consent agenda? Hearing none. Commissioner Hill?
Mr. Mayor, I move to adopt the consent agenda consisting of items numbered 1 through 3. Item number 1, adoption of resolution number 1920-053, Resolution to approve payment of the scheduled bills listed on Schedule 8 in the amount of $1,625,485.07. Item number 2, adoption of ordinance number 4452 on its second reading, an ordinance authorizing a special use for property located at 412 Cass Street in City of East Peoria, Tazewell County, Illinois. Item number 3, adoption of resolution number 1920-048 on its second reading, a resolution approving engineering services contract with Midwest Engineering Associates for Altorfer Lane improvements, as listed on the agenda for this meeting to be considered by omnibus vote.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Decker. Any discussion? Hearing none. Roll call.
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
Aye.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I move that items number 1 through 3 listed on the consent agenda be hereby approved and adopted. Items number 2 and 3 having been read once by their title and laid on the table for no less than 1 week for public inspection be adopted as presented.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Decker. Any discussion? Hearing none. Roll call.
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
Aye.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I have one case tonight. Mr. Mayor, I move that ordinance number 4453 hereto attached, an ordinance imposing municipal cannabis retailers occupation tax of 3% on cannabis retail dispensaries in the city of East Peoria, be accepted on its first reading as read by its title and be laid on the table for no less than 1 week for public inspection.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Decker.
What we have here is we have some administrative procedures that must occur in and if we approve the sale of adult use cannabis in the city of East Peoria. And one of those is establishing the tax rate upon which we will be imposing on those sales. We have to establish that before October 1st, is my understanding. And so this action is establishing that tax rate, which will be collected by the Illinois Department of Revenue and returned to the city as prescribed in their normal practices.
Any other discussion? Hearing none. Roll call.
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
No.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
I have 4 ayes and 1 no, Your Honor.
Very good. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, that's all I have.
Very good. Commissioner Decker.
Yes, sir. I have 2 items tonight, Mayor. First of all, resolution number 1920-050, be it resolved by the Council of the City of East Peoria, Illinois, that resolution number 1920-050 hereto attached, a resolution approving the purchase of 450 96-gallon and 248-gallon recycled solid waste wheeled carts for Public Works from Waste Quip in the amount of $35,250.80 be hereby approved. I think my words got cut off. Mr. Mayor, I move you that this resolution number 1920-050, having been read once by its title, having laid on the table for no less than 1 week for public inspection, be adopted as presented.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Mingus.
Thank you, Commissioner Mingus. This one, we've had quite a bit of discussion. I did receive a couple emails from people over the last couple weeks who had been upset that we did not have the toters passed previously, that were very happy looking at what was done, completely understood why, for those people who would rather have smaller toters, that we went that route. So I've not heard any negativity about this, and I'm happy to get it going forward.
Any other comments from the council?
Sure. I'm going to still vote against this, mostly because of the reason we talked about figuring out a way out of this. And don't get me wrong, I know Rome wasn't built in a day, but I haven't heard a word of how we're going to get out of this yet. You know, the city of Peoria gives these things away. Our people are paying for it. When I say the city gives it away, it's part of their deal when they pay their $18 a month. That's what it costs them to get their stuff picked up. I think East Peoria needs to really take a good hard look at that, because it's like having house cleaning pickup day every week. You can do couches, chairs, tables, anything but basically televisions and computer sets and a couple other items, car tires and stuff. But it relieves a problem. And you can go to Waste Management and you can buy these things. You can go to PDC and you can buy these things. You can go to any other store around here. I just don't think the city needs to be involved with this. I'm going to stand my ground on this. We need a way out of this deal, because I think if we're going to follow the warranty for 10 years, we're going to be following our nose for the next 100 years.
Fair enough. Any other comments? Hearing none. Roll call.
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
No.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
I have 4 ayes and 1 no, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Next, Mayor, I can't believe it's already this time of year. Resolution number 1920-057, be it resolved by the Council of the City of East Peoria, Illinois. The resolution number 1920-057 hereto attached. A resolution requesting permission for temporary closure of state-maintained roadways for a public event for the Festival of Lights Parade on November 16, 2019, be approved. Mr. Mayor, I move you that this resolution number 1920-057 be accepted on its first reading as read by its title and be laid on the table for no less than 1 week for public inspection.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Mingus.
Thank you, Commissioner Mingus. Like I said, feels like just yesterday that we did this last year. It is time to start looking at Festival of Lights. The parade will be here before you know it, and we can't just have the parade. Some of the routes that we take the parade across are state routes. We have to request the closure of those during that time. There's quite a bit of work goes into this. I know Doug, his crews are always looking at this. Rick's been responsible for this for years, and Ty's heavily involved in it. A couple days ago, I was down at the festival building and ran into John Broshears and the work that he's doing and the people that are helping him. They're doing a tremendous job, so I'm looking forward to this year's parade. Hopefully it's really nice weather and we can all sit and watch the parade in shorts. That'd be really nice. But I am looking forward to it this year.
Very good. Any other comments from the council? Hearing none. Did you give the parade date?
I did
Commissioner?
not. and
It
I
is
can't-
November 16th
Thank
this
you.
year.
Thank you.
2019. So, all right. Roll call.
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
Aye.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Thank you.
That's all I have right now, Mayor.
All right. Commissioner Sutherland.
I believe I have 3 things here on the table. Dennis is on vacation this week, and I know Rick's here. So if I say something, when I try to explain this, wrong or stupid, please let me know. May it be resolved by the Council of the City of East Peoria, Illinois, that resolution number 1920-054 hereto attached, a resolution authorizing and approving the slip lining of 955 lineal feet portion of a sanitary sewer main located on Hill Road under the creek by Hare Construction, Inc., in the amount of $31,935.50 be approved. Mr. Mayor, I move that this resolution number 1920-054 be accepted on its first reading as read by its title and laid on the table for no less than 1 week for public inspection.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Decker.
Basically, what this is off Meadow Avenue, Hill Road, which is closed now, has a sewer problem coming down the hill and going underneath of the creek where it was, years ago, the bridge was abandoned due to the price it would be to replace it. And there's no houses involved with this slip lining, I was told, on the 955 feet. I'm not a slip lining fan by no stretch of the imagination, but because of the water infiltration problem and the tile they're having problems with, this problem's been going on for a long time. This has been going on for quite a while, and we're taking care of it now. It should have been done years ago, I guess is my whole point. So I'm for the slip lining in this case. That's it.
Any other comments from the council? Just wanted to point out the city received 2 bids, and Hare Construction, this bid was the lowest of the 2. So, roll call?
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
Aye.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Okay. This second item is also something that should have been taken care of a long time ago. Mayor, be it resolved by the city of East Peoria, Illinois, that the resolution 1920-055 hereto attach a resolution approving the repair of sanitary sewer trunk line on East Faulkner Road by G.A. Rich in the amount of $36,000 be approved. Mr. Mayor, I move that this resolution number 1920-055 be accepted on its first reading as read by its title and be laid on the table for no less than 1 week for public inspection.
I have a second, please.
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Hill.
This problem here is at the end of Faulkner Street at the east end, and it's over apparently a poorly designed and constructed culvert system, and it's approximately 13 feet above the creek where the sewer pipe goes across. And during, the way I understand it, about 2 or 3 years ago, during one of the large storms that we had, a large section of the culvert took off and went up the creek, and it's pretty well rusted in place, so it's been there a while. And the sewer line has been exposed ever since, and the weather has been eating away and eating away and eating away at what it's setting on. And when the sewer line collapses, which is a fairly substantial length as far as sewer line goes, it will absolutely go in the creek, and then we're not talking $36,000, we're talking in the low hundreds of thousands of dollars to get this fixed. I'm not too excited about the process that we're fixing this with, is by basically making a beam construction system over the top and then hanging the sewer from it. But that's the least expensive way we can do it without spending some serious money on this problem. I don't think there'll ever be another subdivision that would allow anything like this go in the future. I'm sure not. That's it.
Any other comments from the council? Hearing none. Roll call?
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
Aye.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, this is my last one here, I believe, for now. Be it resolved by the Council of the City of East Peoria that Resolution 1920-056 hereto attached, a resolution accepting change order from the city sanitary sewer system upgrade project, Phase A through C construction project, change order number 1, in the amount of $52,894 be approved. Mr. Mayor, I move you that this resolution number 1920-056 be accepted on its first reading as read by its title and be laid on the table for no less than 1 week for public inspection.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Mangus.
What's going on here, and it took me a while to figure this out and put it in my own head. So I wrote down a couple notes, and I'm going to try to read this without messing it up. The changes that are taking place in this resolution are in no way tied together except for the ebb and flow of the money. We received $100,000 kind of a rebate back for the contingency allowances for a Salzer blower for this project. And because of this part of the project isn't needed for how the project ended up being, there's $100,000 that's going toward a $152,000 bill. That means that there's going to be an increase of $52,000 difference more. And what the $52,000 difference is going, if I understand this correct, is going from Square D system to Toshiba, which we carry in East Peoria in nearly all of our pump stations, sewer and water, and that we have local distributor and repair people here, and the Square D, if we had a problem, the closest two places, one's in Iowa and one's in Chicago, that is the manufacturer rep. And so we combined the two things together, and it's going to cost us $52,000, and now's the time to do it. Mr. Rick, am I correct?
You're exactly correct, Commissioner. The Toshiba drives just bring the system into consistency with all the other treatment plants and stuff.
That's it.
Any other comments from the council? If not, I'll share a few. So everybody knows we're undergoing the $66 million wastewater treatment plant upgrade. Part of that process is going to be what we call a change order process. Commissioner Sutherland, myself, Dennis Barron, Pat Sheridan from Farnsworth, and Mr. Bolton, who is the consultant on behalf of the city, all met to determine how that process is going to play out over the course of the next 18 or 24 months. And we knew going into this that we had this initial change order, which is in relation to the Toshiba controls. When this job went out for bid, it included Square D. So it was pretty obvious that the city wanted Toshiba. Well, that initiated an initial change order. The reason why it's here before the council tonight is because of the dollar amount. But moving forward is what we determined the best practice, not to hold up any type of this, any phase within this 4 phases of this wastewater treatment plant upgrade. I reached out to the city of Pekin, and I'm not ashamed to say it because I'm not an expert. They utilized both Farnsworth and Williams Brothers for theirs, and they have a city engineer. So I asked him what process they implemented to ensure that the city of Pekin was well taken care of throughout the process. And he recommended exactly what we did here. And quite honestly, Pat Sheridan from Farnsworth, I'll give him credit, he showed up at that meeting to throw this idea out there as to best handle it. So it's what you're going to see over the next 18 to 24 months. You won't see any, probably this, one item costing $50,000 out of 52 or whatever the case may be. But is what you will do is you're going to lump the various change orders. For example, Pekin had a total of like 73. We're not going to come back before the council 73 times and hold the project up because there's a process behind the change orders. They go in front of the IEPA to get their approval and whatnot. So anyway, this is the first and probably the most painful, but in fairness to Farnsworth and Williams Brothers, this is something the city made a decision on, and that's what we're here to approve tonight is the very first one. So, but moving forward, Dennis Barron, Mr. Bolton, Pat Sheridan, and the commissioner will be overseeing the entire process before it gets to this point. So I want everybody to rest assured it's not one individual making these decisions.
Yes, you are correct. I probably should have said that there's already another one waiting in the woods for us. It's about $7,000, $7,200, and we're going to bundle these together, like you said. So they're trying to do a 3-year project in about 18 months, and so these are going to be coming pretty hot and heavy at us. This one that's coming at us, it will be on our first bundle next week. I hope the bundle isn't very big, is because there's a primary electric line buried exactly where the building footprint is. And even though the electrical line is going to be vacated when the project's done, it can't be where it's at now. So we have to spend $7,200 to move it, to use it for 18 months, and then throw it away. Okay?
Any other comments from the council? Hearing none, roll call.
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
Aye.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Thank you.
That's it, sir.
All right, Commissioner Mingus.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have two items. First item, be it resolved by the Council of the City of East Peoria that resolution number 1920-052 hereto attached, a resolution approving the purchase of a demo 2019 Pierce Sabre FR pumper fire engine from Global Emergency Products in the amount not to exceed $339,800 be approved. Mr. Mayor, I move you that this resolution number 1920-052 be accepted on its first reading as read by its title and be laid on the table for no less than 1 week for public inspection.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Decker.
Thank you, Commissioner Decker. This is a resolution to purchase a demo fire engine from Pierce, and I guess I'll give a little bit of the backstory on why we need this and where this need came from. We have 3 frontline fire engines, one at each fire station, one at Central House, one at 3 House, one at 4 House. Engine 4, which, and Chief Knapp, please correct me if I'm wrong, is a 2006.
Correct.
Is going up for service on frame rails. The Pierce fire engines, the models around that year had bad frame rails. Pierce fixes those frame rails, kind of like a recall on your car, and they foot part of the bill for that. When we send that engine up, it's going to be gone for 4 to 6 weeks. And our 2 backup fire engines, one is a 2000 and one is a 1996. Both of those have bad frame rails, and both of those one is almost 20 years old, one is 23 years old. So Chief Knapp came and we talked about how we could maybe, I guess to back that up even more, those 2 fire engines also need frame rail repair. They're estimated that if we were to continue to use those fire engines, they're going to need $75,000 to $100,000 worth of work within the next couple of years to keep them viable as public safety equipment. The chief has come, and I agree with him. I don't think that putting a 2000 model that is not in the best shape as a frontline piece of equipment for public safety for the next 6 months is a responsible thing to do. So we looked at options. New fire engines typically cost $550,000. The last fire engine we purchased in 2015 was $550,000. Chief and I talked, and Chief and I believe Deputy Chief Brown worked with Pierce to find a deal on a demo engine. The engine that they're looking at is not the Cadillac of fire engines. This is the Chevy of fire engines. This new one would be $425,000. Pierce has offered to give it to us for $339,800 if we forego the frame rail improvements on the 2 reserve fire engines that we have. So my motion or my recommendation would be to purchase this fire engine. We would forego the improvements on the 2 reserves. We would sell them. We would then bring engine 4 back. That would be our primary reserve, and we would have a 2015, a 2019, and a redone 2017 fire engine as our front line, and then we would have a redone 2016 as our backup, which I think would serve the citizens of East Peoria well. I know there has been some concerns about current budget, and we did not budget for this. Chief has worked with Pierce. We'll be able to pay for this out of the next 2 fiscal years, so money will not come out of this fiscal year for the engine. There will be some costs associated with getting this engine up to date, radios, lights, and all of those things, and the chief has said that we will take the revenue that we will get from selling the old engine. I think we also have a pickup truck that we're going to sell, and that will offset the cost in this year's budget for whatever cost will be associated with getting this online. I don't know if anyway, so we would pay for it out of the next 2 years. And one thing that I know some of the commissioners have talked about is other capital needs that the fire department might have within the next 2 years. And Chief, one of the things that we talked about was the fire department, if we're able to get this engine, we feel strongly that this is a public safety need, that we will not have any capital expenses budgeted in the next 2 fiscal years. No monitors, no pickup trucks, no engines, no truck, ladder truck, because we feel that right now this is what we need to serve our citizens and to ensure their safety. We definitely have concerns with a 2000 with pumps and everything else that goes into a fire truck. If I missed something, Chief, please let me know.
No, sir, you've got everything. Our biggest concern is that, again, the 4 to 6 month time frame that the current engine 4 is going to be out of service, unavailable. The service life, as we had talked about on an engine, we are pushing the envelope beyond where we should. When you get into 20 years on a fire engine, you talk about corrosion, wear and tear. Very simply, this is the right thing to do.
I will also say, I went down Saturday because I did get a couple questions about this, and I looked at the the 2000 that would be going frontline when engine 4 goes out. And it's old. I mean, think about your car. I don't know how many people drive a 20-year-old car, but there's things that happen to your 20-year-old cars, and that's the same with the fire engine. So I agree with Chief. I think it's a responsible thing to do.
Any other discussion, comments from the council?
Yeah, I would like to, because I spoke with Commissioner Mingus. Now, my question is, based on the information that I had, you had 2015, 2007, 2006. So if we were going to reframe rail 2 models, or at least that was the justification that you talked to me about. So we will not, that's only $150,000 to $200,000. That evidently before was good enough, but now is not good enough from a safety. I have a little concern that it was good before, but now it's not good. But which machines or which engines are going to be the backup if you went with this 2019? Because the 2006 is going into repairs for the frame rail at the end of this year.
Correct. So 2096 right now, they do serve as functionable reserve apparatus. I mean, we can pull them into service for a day, 2, even a week if we have one of our engines go down that we can fix here. If we were to put that in service for 6 months, all of a sudden now you're running that on a daily basis, and it's not as serviceable, not as reliable. To answer your question, Commissioner Hill, you are correct. The 2006 is going up for the service, and when that gets back, that will be our reserve. So we'll have a refurbished reserve. We will not do the work on the 96 or the 2000. Those will be sold at auction, with the money from those being used to pay for any upgrades to the 2019 that we would be purchasing.
Okay, so we will only have one reserve.
Correct. For a period of time we will, but it'll be a reliable reserve, and I don't want to talk for Chief, but I would think that it would be more reliable than what we currently are running.
Right, and understand from our perspective, not only are we going to have that 06 as a primary reserve, we have in the past and we will continue to do so until there's a time that we can replace that 1992 ladder truck with limited miles, limited hours. When I say limited, that's relative speaking. But that 92 will come to frontline and operate as an engine when it's needed. The debate right now, when we talk about a 96 and the 2000, is based upon the fact that they're not worth a whole lot of money. Are we better off at that point selling both of them? We're better off to keep one as a emergency reserve. Quite honestly, as Commissioner and I talked, I can't depend on them. And when we get in a situation that we can't depend on them, we start borrowing fire apparatus from other communities that need their fire apparatus that sometimes can be in as poor a shape or worse shape than the ones that we have. So it's a genuine concern from my perspective. This is not the 20-year-old Chevrolet that you have parked in your garage. This is the 20-year-old fire engine, the 23-year-old fire engine that we're relying on to come to your residence. That is a really, you really can't consider them the same. Emergency equipment is just that. When we rely on it to start, to make it, to do the job that we need. I would invite any of you to stop by my office sometime, take a look at some of the components sitting on my desk of these engines, which now have holes in them. This is to the pumps that we use to spray water. This is something that's not optional. I've got to have equipment that works for the men and women that work for this department and the citizens that we serve.
So the budgeted and planned repairs are no longer safe? So the frame rail repairs no longer make these vehicles safe?
They are to the point that they need to be replaced because, yes, there is a potential for failure. The degree of those failures and how long it takes, it's unfortunately, you can look at some of the calculations that have been done on those as far as metal thickness and the areas of corrosion on those frame rails. There's varying levels throughout the truck, and it's a matter, again, it's a calculated risk.
Okay. So again, we've got either 150 to 200,000 if we rework the old ones, and we spent 339. Again, the only thing, again, you'll hear me over and over again as a committee, and again, safety is of paramount importance to me, but also, being fiscally responsible for what we've budgeted for and what we planned, and the commitment to get as much money in our next budgets as we can for streets and infrastructure. I ask, and a key thing here is we have unknown expenses that will not know until later this year how that impacts our costs next year and the year after. So without those, I would like to delay this decision until a few months, or at least delay it from now, is my position right now.
I think the issue with delaying it is, one, this is a demo unit, so there's no guarantee that we will get a unit like this for the price that we're getting. We could lose that unit. Quite frankly, we could approve this tonight, and they could sell this unit tomorrow, and we need the second approval in order to make it official, I believe, is how Pierce works. My other issue is, this is a public safety issue. When engine 4 there's a timeline. This isn't like buying a car. There's a timeline when you order a fire engine. They just don't come within a week or even a month. You've got to get them ready. All of our equipment, as far as our extradition tools that we use, everything is in those engines, and it takes time to get that ready. I think when you delay, I'm not sure that delaying a couple months fixes anything. I mean, we're not going to have ideas for the next budget in a month or in 2 months. I mean, those conversations will take place after that. I think moving on this is the best thing to do, and move on at this time.
Any
No
other
further questions.
comments from the council?
Yeah, Mayor, I agree about being fiscally responsible, which is why I don't think we should put money into the old vehicles. They're just not worth it. I think they have a value of, Chief, what is the value of those?
Unfortunately, when you send these apparatus off to have the work done that we're talking about, we're going to go up and potentially spend, not potentially, we will spend between 75 and 100, 125,000 per engine. That's on a 96 and a 2000. The value of that apparatus when it returns is going to be $20,000 on a good day. I can't in good conscience recommend doing that in the long term. It's a situation that when you buy a new engine, you've got a new engine, you've got a 20-year expected life on that engine. And from my perspective, again, I don't throw money around. All of you know me, know that. But I also look at a situation of potentially spending $200,000 on two engines that are worth, on a good day, $40,000. I just don't think it's wise.
I appreciate you saying that. That was one thing that was sticking in my mind. I don't like to waste money, and I'm afraid that having those vehicles fixed would be a waste of money. We wouldn't. It's not just the frame rails that are the problem. I mean, it's a 20-year-old everything else. So I don't want to put the money into those. Obviously, I have close knowledge of this, and we have been close in the past of getting to the point of needing to borrow vehicles, and we just can't do that. I've never known a fire department in the area that I've been around who has had to borrow a vehicle to respond to their citizens, and I don't want to be the first. And I certainly don't want, obviously we have this problem in other departments as well, whether it be plow trucks and so on, but this is one of those issues that if we don't fix it, I don't want to have the problem of not having a vehicle to show up.
I just have one question, Your Honor. Commissioner Hill, if we did delay this, what event would you be looking for? What time frame would you be looking for to pick this back up?
Until we know what our costs are going to be labor-wise in the next 2 years, I will not know.
My issue with that is there are two issues going on in the fire department right now. One is the collective bargaining agreement that we are negotiating with the firefighters, and we are in the process we have a meeting after this meeting to go over that. One is the public safety responsibility we have as the citizens of this city. To me, they're two separate issues. Collective bargaining is something that happens with every organized labor and every employer in the state of Illinois that's public. And there are avenues that both the employers and the collective bargaining groups have. And I do not think we should put public safety at a risk because we don't have an agreement with the firefighters. And that is what Commissioner Hill is saying. He wants to wait until we have agreement with them before we purchase public safety equipment. And I have a strong feeling that is irresponsible to do to the citizens of East Peoria. Our job is to provide the guys, our people, with the equipment they need to safely put out fires at your house and respond to you if you have an EMS call. And if we wait until we have an agreement with the fire department, please understand that could be a year from now. It could be a year. I hope it's not. I'm hoping it's not, but it could be. And I am not willing to wait to provide the citizens with a piece of equipment that's needed for a year, 6 months, a day, because I don't think it's responsible.
Well, Mr. Mingus, I want to take a little bit of offense to you implying that, I'm going to put numbers over safety. So again,
You just said
safety is
it.
important to me. Well, safety is important to me. But the rework of these two trucks were sufficient until a new shiny truck came along at a better deal. And so now we're going to change our plan so that we get a new shiny truck. I'd love to buy this. But right now,
Commissioner, it wasn't.
well,
They
right
were
now,
sufficient until we had to send one up for 4 to 6 months. That's when it changed, when we're taking one out of commission. We are taking a frontline piece of equipment out for 4 to 6 months, and you're wanting us to put a piece of equipment that our chief that we hire is saying is not reliable to respond to my house or anybody's house out there. It's not responsible. With an agreement or without an agreement, it's not responsible. They're two separate issues.
Okay.
And I won't say another word, but I feel strongly about that.
No problem. Commissioner Sutherland, any comments?
Yeah, I'm going to jump in because the only thing that I have a problem with this city and have had for a long time is that there is no planning, there is no goal, there is nothing. I mean, here, we got some of the highest paid employees anywhere to be found. Go look it up. I mean, in any way, shape, or form. I don't care how you want to look at it. Health insurance, wages, days off, equipment. There is no planning for this city. There is no infrastructure planning. Now, if there was a plan, and I'm going to agree with Commissioner Hill, and that is, listen, let's lay this out. If we're going to spend X amount of money for the fire department and the street department and the sewer and water department, and there's a plan, but as of right now, there's been no plan. We're driving around on streets that the sewer, if anybody knows me, they know what I do for a living. That's what I do for a living, is I'm a small sewer contractor. It's fallen apart under the streets. And when I'm down there working and a car drives by or a truck drives by over the street that we're working on, it's fallen apart in front of me while I'm looking at it a lot of the times. You want to call about a safety issue, a service issue, you want to talk about throwing money at good after bad. If there would have been a plan in the very beginning to deal with the infrastructure and a long-term plan like other cities, and people are sick and tired of me using the word Morton to show how well a city can be organized, what I'm trying to say in that is we would have all the money in the world if we would have had a little bit of leadership as far as a goal. And I know that we spent a lot of our money playing developer over the past few years, and I've disagreed with a lot of that. I think that the people that made those decisions thought they had to make them. I disagree with a lot of them. I disagree with some of them. But maybe they did the right thing in the long run. I don't know. But in the meantime, the place has fallen apart. I don't mind waiting on the fire truck. I mean, there's a lot of things that need to be explained to me that I don't understand. And if the fire truck is in use now, and I understand it needs to be replaced, but there's a lot of things in this town that need to be replaced.
Commissioner Sutherland, the fire truck that would be in there is not in use. It's a reserve now, but it's not frontline now. And I agree with you. And just so you know, from the fire perspective on Capitol, that's it. The fire truck for the next 2 years, our plan is nothing else. No other purchases major budgeted for those. Because I agree, a plan is needed.
Okay, so I'm going to be respectful of the two opposing sides here this evening. what's at play here is we have an opportunity with the demo unit that is not typical, I would say. I go back to engine 1 and engine 4. I know they're talking years. I just know the numbers on the engines as commissioner over public health and safety prior to this seat. We sent engine 1 in for these frame rail repairs, and if people remember correctly, we had a fire on the engine, which expedited that process. So we refurbed that engine last year. Engine 4 was scheduled to go in this year for the same type of work. So that was already in the cards. It was already something that we had planned for on the previous council. Now at play is a demo unit that's available to the city at a discounted price. I hear both sides of it. I had an hour-long conversation with Commissioner Mingus yesterday. I was respectful in that he asked to take a vote on this. I understand your reasoning why. Personally, I don't have a comfort level with the particular time, is what I will say, and I've told the chief this today. If within the next couple weeks, before the next council meeting, or even the one at the beginning of October, I have a better comfort level with where we're at, I will bring it back. I'm not going to support it this evening. I will bring it back for reconsideration, or anyone that happens to vote no this evening. I just, for a multitude of reasons which I shared with Commissioner Mingus, I personally don't have a comfort level this evening supporting this. I understand the need. I don't question the need. I truly don't. So that's where we stand. Roll call.
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
No.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
No.
Mayor Call?
No.
I have 3 noes and 2 ayes, Your Honor. Motion fails.
Thank you.
One other item, Your Honor. Whereas effective at the end of the day on August 30th, 2019, a vacancy will exist in the rank of Deputy Chief on the East Peoria Fire Department by virtue of the retirement of Deputy Chief Shannon Swearingen, and whereas the Chief of Police has recommended that Chad Lacoste be promoted to the rank of Deputy Chief effective on September 16th, 2019. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the City of East Peoria, Tazewell County, Illinois, that Chad E. Lacoste is hereby appointed as Deputy Chief of the East Peoria Police Department effective September 16, 2019, subject to compliance with all applicable procedures and requirements.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Decker.
Mr. Mayor, I move you that resolution number 1920-058 be adopted as presented.
Okay. Any discussion, any comments?
I personally, I've known Chad for a long time. I think he'll do a great job. I'm happy to see him in that position.
Just like to say congratulations. I'm happy to see him in that position as well.
I'd like to say I've known Chad my entire life, and or his entire life, because I'm older than he is. Very good man. Like him a lot.
I don't know Chad, but based on the recommendations, I will again support Chad. Congratulations.
Chief, anything you want to add?
I do just want to say we had 5 of our 7 sergeants put in. We did interviews last week. Mayor Call was in there. And in discussions with Deputy Chief Broderick and Mayor Call, we've come to this decision, and we believe that Chad will do a very good job.
Very good, and I concur with the chief. Congratulations, Chad Lacoste. You've deserved it, and this will be effective September 16th. Will be the swearing in. It's on a Monday. So, roll call.
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
Aye.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Very good. Anything else?
That's all I have, Your Honor.
Very good. Any public comments from anyone in the audience on a non-agenda item? Please step forward. Mr. Bassam?
I think that you guys should check in on the Pierce. I believe there's a lawsuit against their frame rails. My buddy's a fireman, and he knows all about the frame rails on the Pierce.
And just for the record, that's why the engine went in last year and the other one was going in this year?
Yeah, I buy fire trucks. That's how I know, too. But anyway, I got another ticket for having commercial equipment at a residential area. I've been working on this house and trying to fix it up, and I store stuff there, but I use that stuff to work on it too. And on the citation, it says there's got to be a complaint made for when you get a citation. And my neighbor says that Joe comes to my house, the house across the street, and the neighbor's house across the street every Monday and Friday. So why is he coming around so much to all three houses besides other people in the Richland Bottoms area? I mean, seems like it's harassment. I mean, there's so much other stuff that can be done, and here he is at my house and the neighbor's house twice a week. And Jeff Gablehausen over here has got a low-income housing. We got crackheads coming all night, hours of the night. People are parking on the street. And we got other slumlords down there that needs to be taken care of. But everybody, for some reason, they want to pick on the homeowners down here in Richland Bottoms. You know, my dad tried to sell his house down there in the Bottoms back in the early 80s because he retired from CAT. And this council denied him the opportunity to sell it. He couldn't get no money out of it. He could only give it away if he wanted to, because this council passed an ordinance where he couldn't sell it. So he kept it. Now I live in it. And this is terrible, you know, what's going on here. And, I mean, there's got to be something going on for you guys to be picking on all of us. I'd like to know what it is. I mean, my family here, the Richland Bottoms people, we're tired of it. We like to know what's going on, besides trying to clean it up. I'm trying to clean it up. I bought a house to keep the drug idiots out of my next door neighbors. You know, we're just tired of this. Thank you.
Any other comments from the public? Anyone wish to address the council on a non-agenda item, please step forward. And when you do, please state your name, just so we have it for the record.
Sorry, I thought the other issue was done with there.
Okay.
You know, I hear you guys talk all the time about fiscal responsibility and you know, making sure that we get the best bang for our buck and everything. And I've talked to a couple of you about the money that we're wasting in fuel every month. Chief, how many gallons of fuel do you use in a month? Okay, I'd love to know if you wouldn't mind sending it to me, or send it to the mayor and he can send it to me.
We'd back up on that a little bit for just police and fire. There would be a cumulative amount
Oh,
for the
okay.
city pumps.
Okay.
That's the best I can do today.
And that's fine.
Sure.
And Rick, you know, I don't know how much you guys use, but it's got to be a bunch also.
Yeah, we use quite a bit. I can get those numbers for you too, Bob.
Okay. I've talked to a couple of you about trying to limit the amount of fuel that we waste every day, every month, and I don't know what the savings, the potential savings could be, but again, G&D Trucking thought enough to look into it, and apparently they're very pleased that they looked into it and made some changes in what they're doing. And like I said, they are saving money and pleased to be doing it. There is a gentleman that said that he would love to come to a working session and talk to council about this issue. And I noticed we didn't have a working session today. You know, that would have been 30 minutes, maybe, that, you know, we could use to find out some of his ideas and to see if any of it will tie in with what we're doing here in East Peoria with our vehicles, and maybe save some money and have it available for new fire trucks that we obviously need. And, you know, I sure feel strongly about that with my past history. But that's my comments, and I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
I'm Bo Scott, from the Bills and Jamie's. I live down on 142 State Street. Most of you probably knew my father, Bob Scott. Whether good or bad, it's all right, I'm not him. But
He's a good guy.
I travel a lot for work. So I have a property manager that handles the properties that I do have. I bought those from my father. A lot of them were in ill state of repair, I'll just say that. So I've been working on trying to get them fixed up. But I'm gonna go ahead and side with Mr. Bassam over here. Joe, my property manager, calls me in tears. The way that he was talking to her, and she disputed a citation and beat that, so he threw another one up out of McDonald's cup. And then she told me, and she's very timid, very honest, very sweet woman. And I was infuriated by it, said, if you don't write me a check, then I will make sure that you get cited maximum for everything that you have. And I told her next time, if that ever happens again, write him that check, please. And then I get citations from, apparently they've got trouble with the Cassidys, who, again, they are one of my tenants. And so then all of a sudden they go after me for their property. And I'm with Bill. I want to know what's going on, because now, like I said, I understand some of those properties do need work, and I'm absolutely more than willing to do it. My entire intent was to get those paid off as soon as possible, fix them up very nice so a homeowner can move in there. But the way things are going and the way that this harassment's going on, it's just not even feasible. I talk about somebody, they're like, oh, I'm moving down there. I've heard about what the city's doing down there. And I hate to say the city because it sounds like it's just a couple of people, but I know it's got to be coming from somewhere and it's being allowed to be done. And I try to keep my head down, but it's just getting so hard for me to stand. Like, I just don't get it. I'm shaking. I get so frustrated because I've got a lot of money invested and I don't want to see it just taken out of my hands, but there comes a point where, just like the city's budget, you can only do so much at a time. So if something could be looked into that, that would be great. Thank you.
Appreciate your comments, and I sense your frustration. I encourage, after this meeting or any time in the near future, to reach out and have a conversation with Commissioner Hill. Code enforcement, it doesn't matter whether they're unbiased and just doing their job, or let's just say in this case, your allegations are you feel like the city's coming after you. I know Commissioner Decker and I, probably 6-7 years ago now, through the Human Relations Commission, we got involved in the Richland area down there. I do realize that area has been ignored for 40 years, and the city never enforced codes down there. I'll tell you what brought us down there were residents down there that had a lot of concerns about the slumlords. And I know Commissioner Decker can vouch for this, so I am going to touch on it because this is the second meeting, and I understand. And I tell people, use your voice. That's what it's there for. You're not going to offend me. I would like to think you're not going to offend anybody on this council to come forward with your opinion. But I do want to touch on something. So the way the city's code enforcement works is we have been more proactive, if you will, but it's all complaint driven. So as much as it appears that the city's picking on one person or the other, believe it or not, there's a complaint that took us down there. We don't just arbitrarily go out and pick an area of town and pick a particular person. And I know it appears that way because sometimes there's multiple complaints because people own multiple properties. Not to say we're perfect. One of the things years ago that we started attending the neighborhood meetings and we heard a lot of the concerns. And me personally, I feel like there's an educational component that needs to apply here, which is, listen, you can't ignore an area for 40 years in code enforcement and then show up one day and decide to just start slapping stickers on there. You need to explain, you need to go up and you need to have personal contact with the homeowners, explain to them what they've done wrong, explain to them the codes. And I can tell you, I'll vouch, and I'm only speaking for myself here, I know we can do a better job. And I'll make every effort to do it. I'll take full responsibility up here. And I'm going to see this through. No matter whether we agree with somebody in the public or not, there's a sense of professionalism that must be maintained. And I get the frustration. This second meeting in a row where we've heard a lot of the same concerns, but I don't want to dump on our guys either, because there's two sides to every story, and sometimes that side may not come out by design, because a lot of these complaints are anonymous, and we're going to keep them that way. We're not here to pit one against the other. It's just the nature of the beast. One person gets turned in, and that leads to, hey, wait a minute, you're picking on me. How about the guy 3 doors down? And that's what drives it. We have a lot of improving I think we can do there, and it's work in progress. It's a new council, and like I said, time again, all these people up here are giving it 100%. So I understand your frustration. It's something that we can look into. I ask you, it's Commissioner Hill's department. Please reach out to him in fairness. Have these conversations with him and see if we can't come up with a resolution before it leads to this point. So I appreciate that. Any other comments? Mr. Norwitz?
Well, I think I'm going to start early this year and ask, when does open burning begin?
That is typically, I'd have to check. It's been a while since I sat in that seat, but I used to know the months. I know it.
I thought it was the other day because I woke up on Saturday morning and here's the smoke just rolling.
I should have known you were roping me.
And the bonfires were going, and it ran all day Saturday.
Yeah.
And when I woke up on Sunday morning, the rain's putting it out. So evidently, code enforcement can come up around my house and start patrolling up there, because there's plenty of violators going on with burning. Something that we've been working on now, well, this is what, 5, 6 years?
At least.
And we still can't even accomplish a simple task of open burning. And I'm still waiting for us to do something with yard waste pickup. Pick these leaves up so that we don't have this problem. Once again, the city of Peoria, other communities, they farm out their garbage, their yard waste, and recycle, and they do a great job, and they don't have those issues. Unfortunately, we have them here. So while we still have at least another month before they start burning, they've already started burning. So anything that you guys can do to resolve that issue, I would appreciate. Thank you.
And I agree with you. It's a sore subject, and people do not adhere to the ordinance, and I encourage people to read it, because it's twice a year. There's 2 periods a year where we allow open burning. So, and I don't think you want to get a visit from the big red fire engine.
Thank you.
So, appreciate your comments. Any other public comments? Okay. Hearing none. Comments from the council. Commissioner Decker.
I have 2 things, Mayor. First of all, I stated last meeting that I would be absent during one of the meetings, and that's not true. I'm going to be going to the honor flight again. I enjoy doing that, and a few of us from the fire department, it's kind of like a mission for those on the fire department. And I'm going to get to go, but it's going to be next Tuesday, so I'm not going to miss a meeting, Mayor, and take the opportunity to bring up that very worthwhile organization, take veterans that truly deserve the opportunity to go out and see what they fought for and the monuments dedicated to them. So I am looking forward to that, but I will not be missing a meeting for it. And next, Mayor, and my last item, Mr. Mayor, I move that a closed meeting or session of the City Council be held at the conclusion of this regular meeting to discuss the following matters according to exceptions provided in the Open Meetings Act and specified as follows. Section 2C2, collective negotiating matters between the public body and its employees or the representatives, or deliberations concerning salary schedules for one or more classes of employees.
I have a second, please.
Second.
Commissioner Mingus, thank you. Roll call.
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
Aye.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Thank you.
That's all I have, Mayor.
Very good. Commissioner Hill?
The only thing I had was the trash week or garbage week, or September 29th through October 3rd or 4th.
September 30th.
I'm sorry, September 30th through October 4th.
Okay. September, there you go. There's been a lot of chatter on Facebook and other people asking that, so just wanted to make a reminder. That's it.
Okay. Commissioner Sutherland?
I had one, now I got two. To the folks down in Richland Farms, I'm going to say this to you guys. I've said it when I first got seated, and I want the government out of my bedroom and out of my billfold. I think that if you guys can find out that there's not complaint-driven, there's no paper trail back, I think you guys need to use your legal avenues that you have. And if there's not a paper trail all the way back to somebody's address, telephone number, and a name, then I think that if this is driven by what you think is unfairness, I think whoever is doing it should be gone, and whoever's backing them up should be gone. The next thing I want to talk about, and that is, got to break an egg to make an omelet. Well, Stark Excavating is still on schedule to start breaking that egg going up Oakwood Road. Starting, I think they're going to start at the bottom and kind of work their way up. They're going to do some boring underneath the streets first, but I'm going to turn this over to Rick here pretty quick. There's going to be some signages coming up, I think, and then through traffic will not happen. You won't be able to drive around the sign and get through. So the people that live on Oakwood Road, you'll be able to go one direction in and one direction out till the construction passes you, and then you'll be going the other direction in and the other direction out. Am I correct, Mr. Rick?
Commissioner, I apologize. You probably know more about this than I do. I think that's right.
Yeah, I think the construction starts at the bottom of Sunnyland Hill and will go up just about all the way to the grade school up there, up toward Liberty and stuff like that up in there, and then cease somewhere up there, and then go into a gravity-fed line. But it's those people up there that cut through, ain't going to happen. That's it.
Mike, how long, what's the duration of that?
Well, it's I'll have to say normally for that long of a job, it could last a while. Part of the decision that was made by closing the road is going to make it shorter in duration. But I'm going to give kudos to Stark Excavation. When they go, they're one of the fastest construction companies around. I mean, they're quick. They're just quick. So I would have to say it's going to be tore up really bad for a good couple weeks. If it goes beyond that, for the duration, I mean, for the total closure of the road, I'd be very surprised.
Hey, Mr. Mayor?
Yes,
I'm
sir.
sorry, I forgot.
Yeah, no.
I should have thought about this a minute ago. All this chatter about Richland meeting, they do have meetings that the public is welcome to attend, and I know this month it's on the 12th, I believe. What time is that, Belinda? 5:30. Might be a good opportunity, maybe if Joe, even you, Commissioner Hill, or anybody, John and I used to go all the time. I don't know if he still is going as well, but it's a really good opportunity to talk to the people down there. And I would have felt terrible if I had left without mentioning it. So thank you.
Good point. Commissioner Mingus?
I have nothing this evening, Your Honor.
Wow, nothing? All right. Well, I'll take over where I thought he was going to head. Free car seat check tomorrow. I always remind people, but it's a really valuable free thing that we offer here, East Peoria Fire Department. Central House, which is 201 West Washington, right down the street here between 1 and 4. So if you have any crumb crutchers that you really care about and you're not sure if that car seat's in there, please go get it checked out. Free service. And then Saturday, September 7th, we have another Cars and Coffee down here in the Levy District from 8 to 10. A lot of cool things to see, and if you haven't checked it out, it may be well worth it. So that's all I have. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Mr. Mayor, I move that we adjourn until Tuesday evening, September 17th, 2019, at 6 p.m.
May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Mingus. Roll call?
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
Aye.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
We are adjourned until we meet again. Thank you for being here.